Hi friends, this issue of commutation table and restoration of commutation period from 15 years to 12 years. I have been working on this subject for the last 3 years. I retired 4 years back on this from the central government service. So with my experience of 35 years in associations, I have made up a study on this subject, so which is affecting about 40 to 50 lakhs central government pensioners and about 2 crores to 3 crores of state government pensioners. So I had to give a proper information to the people. So that is why this YouTube media had taken. Otherwise, I would not taken, because there is a false information is going on and not proper information is being provided by the people. So in this respect, so I've been discussing the main topic today is for the persons, pensioners who are retired after 2008 years. I am very sorry, I cannot, there's a, for before 2008, already the recovery has been affected, so we cannot continue, we cannot have much scope of for this 2000, before 2008. Next is the most important aspect is the financial loss. So before any topic, before we study how we get into the things, the important thing, how the financially we are losing. So I am taking the example of 2007 retirees and the 2009 retirees for that example. In terms of the commutation table, first let us discuss with the commutation table. In 2007 retirees will get a commutation amount of 18.83 lakhs by applying a commutation factor of 9.81 as per the commutation table 1. In case of 2009 retirees who get a commutation amount of 15.73 lakhs by applying a commutation factor of 8.194. So as per the commutation table 2, so here a person loses 3.1, he gets a less amount of 3.1 lakhs. So this is actually, I'm rounding off. So here you can see the commutation table 2 is not a proper table, and this 16.5% there is reduction in the commutation amount which we are getting when compared to the 2007 retirees. So this is a classical example how we are getting less. Next is when you talk of the financial loss due to the commutation amount which is not been, that the restoration has not been affected from 15 years to 12 years. So this is here the excess recovery is taking place for 3 years. Actually, in fact, it is 4 years. 10.85 years, your recovery will stop. Then the risk factor will come. So even if you take a risk factor of 1 year, the excess recovery is taking place for 3 years. So example I'm taking of 2009 retiree and 2007 retiree. And here in 2009 retiree, a person with a basic pension of rupees 8,000, so we will get for 15 years recovery, total is 14.4 lakhs is recovered amount. And excess recovery of 2.88 lakhs is taking place. In case of 2017 retiree, example, I'm taking 16,000 per month and recovery is for 15 years. Total recovery is 28 lakhs 50,000. Excess recovery is 5 lakh 76,000. So here in this case, I want to be very clear. In 2017 retirees, a person get 14 lakhs commutation amount, but his recovery is 28.5 lakhs. So that means excess recovery is taking place of 5.76 lakhs is the excess recovery. Next is we should study how this commutation factor, amount factors and restoration are commuted to portion of the origin we should study. If you go to the origin, first commutation table was introduced. Table number 1 was effective from 1971. And for age 61, the commutation factor was 9.81 and interest rate of 4.75%. The GB of interest at that time was 5.8%. Government gave a subsidy of 4.15. So naturally, naturally the government issues subsidy of 4.15%, and the interest rate on the IRDA rate was 5.8%. So they people got benefited out of the computation table 1. Before 1986, there was no restoration of commuted portion of pension. The person who used to take commutation never used to get restoration. So whole life, that in 1980s, in the whole life he was paying for the commutation amount. That amount was not, totally amount was recorded for the whole life. So that way he was under financial loss. And in 1986, based on the Supreme Court judgment, by this common civil application, and the Rule 10A of the CCS pension rule was amended. So this is the fact in 1986. Now let us study what is commutation 2 for post 2008 retiring. See, here the LIC, it is commutation 2 table is based on the LIC 94-96 table, ultimate table at 8% interest rates. And here there is a class that the mortality rate is prepared by the Institute of Actuaries. The Institute of Actuaries is a government agency under the Ministry of Finance. This mortality table of 2004 actually expires on 31/12/2004. So this LIC table actually used the expired mortality table of 2004, even though it was constructed in 2008. And it is unfortunate, this 2004 table is still used for 20 years by the government of India. And this mortality rate is decreasing year by year. In 20 years, the mortality rate decreased by 41 to 50%. But still, the revision of commutation table 2 has not taken place. One more fact is that LIC and public sector banks have retained the same commutation table 1, which shows the commutation factor of 9.81 with interest rate of 6.1%. Here there is a classical example that for the central government employees, the government is charging 8% interest, whereas in case of the banks and LIC, they are charging 6.1%. So thereby, there is a double standards on the government of India. The life expectancy is rising year by year at the rate of 0.3%. So life expectancy in 2008, which is at 61 years, 66 years, has increased to 70.62 years in the year 2024. So there is an increase of 4 years. But well, the commutation 3 table should have been applied in the year 2020. So next, now let us study what is the 5th pay commission is given. The 5th Central Pay Commission has recommended for 12 years. So for recovery, 12 years is the recovery period is sufficient as per the paragraph number 136.2. So they have recommended. And one more important fact is, based on the Supreme Court judgment, here there is a clause that 2 years recovery of interest of observations has been made by the Supreme Court. But government is recovering at 2.66 years, 2.53 years, all this. So that's why even the Supreme Court of India figures, recommendations have not been accepted by the government of India. Next is important is the Judicial Pay Commission, Second Judicial National Pay Commission, which is apex, which is appointed by the Supreme Court of India. In the year 2021, they have given a judgment, beautiful judgment of 40 pages. One has to read the judgment. That's very nice. Here in this report, it has recommended, extensively studied this report and recommended for the reduction of the recovery of computation value from 15 years to 12 years. So, and even the Kerala state government is having 12 years restoration period. Gujarat state government has issued in 2023 for 13 years of restoration period. So these are the facts. Now let us now study the various aspects. The employees associations, pensioners association have time and again requested, especially for the especially the Pension and Welfare Department, Finance Ministry, to reconsider the restoration of commutation period from 15 years to 12 years. Many individuals also given recognition. I am one among them who are given individual recognition. Now the matter is pending in the standing council. This is a fact. For the last 2 years, the matter is pending in the standing council. JCM staff side is pursuing the matter of the central government vigorously, but the fact is government is not budging. So the because the financial implications are there, hence government of India is going slow on this issue. So this is a fact. Now, as per the Supreme Court judgment, 1986, let us study the facts. So what was the factors in which 15 years was taken into the account? Now, the first factor is the interest rate of 12%. Death rate was for all ages was at 1.6%. And the Indian assured the mortality rate was at 0.2. So that means that the risk factors was only 3%. Life expectancy during the time of 1986 was 57.7%. The recovery of commutation amount of 9.81 principal amount and interest recovery was 2.53 years, total was 12.34 years. And this factor was 2 years. So naturally, that 15 years period was correct. Now, let us analyze what has changed between 1986 to 2023. So that 38 years of it is very long period. Even the second Judicial Pay Commission has strongly come out and said you cannot be a binding factor for all these years. So 1986 Supreme Court order cannot be a binding factor for all this. For 38 years, even 50 years, it can be a binding factor. There is a limitation for the 1986 orders. Why? In 2023, the interest rate is 7.1% against the 12% interest rate of 1986. The death rate in 2023 is 0.7%. Whereas in 1986, it was 1.6%. So it is 50% has come down. And the Institute of Actuaries have been reconstructing the mortality tables every 8 years. So these figures should be taken into the cognizance. Indian assured mortality rate of 60 years as on to 2021, that is 0.0. So here also 50% there is a reduction of the mortality rate. Life expectancy is 70.42 years as per the census data in 2023, whereas the life expectancy in 1986 is coming to 57 years. So there is a big jump. So here what happens is people are living more because of the many factors are there. One is the good health system, and the good nutritious food. So every factors are taken into consideration. The life expectancy, especially for a government servant, for a government pensioner, it is at 77 years. So this is the fact. In the recovery of commutation period, 8.194 principal amount and interest recovery is 2.66 years. Total it comes to 10.86 years. Then it was 12.34 years. Here it comes to 10.86 years. So naturally, after 10.86 years, The excess recovery of 4.15 years. The risk factor is less than one year in 2008 onwards. But today, the risk factor is less than 6 months because of the longevity of the period of your life. Longevity, people are living more, so the risk factor is very less. And interest subsidy should be given as per the 6 pay commission. Here, whatever 7.1% is for the IRDA rates, which is there, even the CGIS is already insurance, government insurance is there, they're charging at 1%, whereas government of India is charging at 8% interest rate. Now coming to the final thing. Here the Punjab High Court, there the more than 150 pensioners, they gone to the Punjab High Court. They went and legal issues were there, and the Punjab High Court has stayed recovery. Interim stay have been given, and the banks have been ordered to stop the further recovery. That is a good development. Government Punjab AG has given the orders. Based on that, the banks also stopped further recovery. Now the question is whether central government employees, pensioners, central government pensioners should go and approach a legal process. Now the question is, it is up to the individual to approach a legal process or wait for the 8th Pay Commission to give its opinion on this issue. Even though the staff side JCM is trying to hard, but due to the financial process, it is very difficult to convince government to get convinced on this issue. Many issues are pending with the government. So it is up to the individual to have its own opinion whether to go legal process or wait for the 8th Pay Commission on this issue. Remember, one thing we should remember is legal process takes few years. Today you apply for the legal catch. If you go to the catch, it will take 1 or 2 years. Then you have to go to the High Court. So then the government will file a review petition in the High Court. So you have to wait some few years. So you cannot have a speedy recovery. So I explained all these things, the facts and figures, what is the actual position, why the claim of restoration of 15, restoration to 12 years is actually legally correct, and how the commutation table of 2008 is wrong, and there should be a rethinking of the commutation table. So I explained in details. I thank all the viewers for watching this video, and I request everybody to share to that so that they get the actual information, not the perforated information given in the media. Thank you.